I'm excited for the potential for both teams. And it actually, it just looking at it this way, it makes you ask, because both Tom Brady's more or less than Bill Belichick, but both Tom Brady and Bill Belichick have the I can do it without Tom, or I can do it without Bill on their shoulder right now. They're both in that prove it phase. Tom Brady wants to prove that he's not the quote unquote system quarterback that everybody says that he is, and Bill Belichick has had Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, on his team almost his whole career in New England. And so it begs to make you ask the question, who has a better 2020 season? If we have a full season and everything goes right, who has a better 2020 season? Bill Belichick and Cam Newton, or Tom Brady, Bruce Arians in Tampa Bay? And when you look at the different factors that factor in, I have to just start the argument off by saying Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady is going to have a better season than Cam Newton. Yes, when you look at Tom Brady, he has gone into the division, which some have considered the best quarterback division in the league for about a decade. For a while there, they got Matt Ryan, Drew Brees. He's going to have to face some really tough competition all season long. The Cardinals with Kyler Murray, they still have as well, I believe, in that division. I'm thinking about the wrong division. Never mind. But Tom Brady is going to have a tough interdivisional matchups this season. However, if you look at the Patriots' schedule all around as a whole, the Patriots have rated one of the toughest, if not the toughest schedule in the NFL this season. When you look at what is around Tom Brady in this Tampa Bay offense, he's got 2,000-yard plus wide receivers in Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin has got, speed almost equal to Tyreek Hill or a Henry Ruggs. He's got amazing speed. He's a little bit quicker, he's a little bit smaller, but he's got that speed to make up for it. And he's got amazing hands. And then when you look at Mike Evans, the size of Mike Evans is one of my favorite wide receivers in the league just to watch. Outside of a fantasy football perspective, outside of that's not my team perspective, I like watching Mike Evans play football. He's an athlete, he's a dog, and he's got that dog mentality, and he's got that size, and he's one of those players where you're just like, how are they going to stop this man? So when you take these 2,000-yard wide receivers and then you add Robert Gronkowski, and how you may or may not feel with how long he's been out or who Gronk is, you can't deny the fact that Gronk is statistically the best tight end that's played at the tight end position in a long time, if not all time. He's up there with the Tony Gonzalez's of the world. And so you're taking one of the best tight ends, one of Tom Brady's best friends, and somebody he has a really good connection with, and you're putting him in the middle of these 2,000-yard wide receivers. The defense is going to have to focus on somebody specifically. And then you look out in the backfield, and in their backfield, they really don't have a super spectacular backfield. But let me ask you, when Tom Brady has ever had a backfield that is the top of the league backfield? That's just not Tom Brady offense. But the running backs that he does have back there at the current moment, Tom Brady, they're great pass catchers. Tom Brady has the ability to spread the offense. They're great pass blockers. He has the ability to spread that offense with those running backs, the two wide receivers, an amazing tight end, and he pretty much just has to let the defense pick their poison. It's as simple as that. And I personally believe, when you're looking at the difference between inside a vacuum, Tom Brady, Cam Newton, the seasons that they had last year, of course, Cam Newton's been coming off an injury, so there's a couple different factors in that aspect. But when you look at them, Tom Brady's not coming off of bad seasons. Tom Brady's not coming off of a season where he needs to prove himself that he's still. People have been saying Tom Brady's going to fall off the cliff for years, and Tom Brady has shown us time and time again, there is no cliff that he's fallen off of anytime soon. And so I still think Tom Brady is Tom Brady. He may not be the best statistical quarterback in the league this season in a fantasy perspective or something like that, but Tom Brady is still Tom Brady. And when you give Tom Brady an actual wide receiver core, because since Randy Moss, like, what wide receiver core has Tom Brady had to work with? Julian Edelman last season, Chris Hogan. They just don't have. They've never really had an offense built around Tom Brady that Tom Brady can just say, oh yeah, I've got these great wide receivers, and they're making the plays. Like, Tom Brady doesn't even really have to play that great at football. He just has to make good decisions and play football like the greatest quarterback of all time can and control the game, just like at the end of Peyton Manning's career. Yeah, Peyton Manning did lose that Super Bowl with the Broncos, but when you look at what Peyton Manning did to get them to those 2 Super Bowls, he didn't play great football. As a matter of fact, one of the Super Bowls, Brock Osweiler, Peyton Manning got hurt, and Brock Osweiler took half the season and still took them to the playoffs. And then Peyton Manning ended up taking them to the Super Bowl through the playoffs. But when you look at what Peyton Manning did in those last couple of years with Denver, he didn't play amazing football. He just played good football, non-bad decision-making football. And that's the issue with young quarterbacks a lot of the time, as we see with Jacoby Brissett or Cam or Kyler Murray. Young quarterbacks, they make bad decisions sometimes just because that's a part of being young. You start to learn the game, and especially with Tom Brady coming into season 17. I mean, Tom Brady he's been around the block more than a few times, and he knows how to play smart football and not make those mistakes. So I think Tom Brady, just looking at the fact that coming in the season, Cam Newton has a year that he's got to prove that he's even still a decent quarterback. Why did you think it took Cam so long to get signed in the first place? Because people are worried after these couple surgeries and these injuries that Cam has taken, that Cam may not be Cam anymore. Cam may not be as athletic as he used to be. Cam may not be as accurate as he barely ever was. And Cam Newton, yes, it goes well into his favor that Cam Newton is going into one of the best, if not the best, goal-to-go rushing offenses in the league. And then when you look at Cam Newton being the best statistical goal-to-go rusher in the league since he's come in the league, Cam Newton, I mean, he definitely found the right fit for Cam. And Bill Belichick's smart. They're not going to build Cam around the Patriots offense. They're going to build an offense around the Patriots. I mean, let's look back when Deflategate happened and Tom Brady had to miss a few weeks. Jimmy Garoppolo started, and I believe he broke his arm, or not broke his arm, but he jacked up his arm, and Jacoby Brissett, the third-string quarterback, ended up having to come in and play. And I can't remember quite the team that they were playing, but during that game, Jacoby Brissett rips off a 25-yard run. It was a naked bootleg, and Jacoby Brissett took it, ran it 25, 30 yards, and it was like the longest quarterback run in Patriots history. And because they've never had a Cam Newton style player, and I think this is going to be good for the Patriots in the fact that nobody's going to know what to expect coming from the Patriots, and I think the Patriots and Cam Newton are going to have an absolutely amazing season. But I don't think that what Cam is going to do with this shortened offseason and what they're going to be able to put in for Cam in the shortened offseason is going to equivalate to what Tom Brady is going to be able to. Tom Brady can come in and learn the Bucs offense. They don't have to create a new offense around Tom Brady. They don't have to, because Tom Brady he's a pocket pass. I mean, Tom Brady is Tom Brady, but at the end of the day, he doesn't have anything per se special about his game. Like he needs to run this amount of times, or he needs to operate outside of the pocket. Tom Brady is a through and through quarterback. Get a good offensive line in front of him and some pass catchers down the field, and Tom Brady he'll run a football game. And we've seen that time and time again through New England. So I think Tom Brady, just his adaptability, his experience, the offense they already have in Tampa Bay, I think Tom Brady he's just built for a better season than Cam Newton, statistically and record-wise. I do think Tampa Bay is going to have some issues this year. Like I said, they're coming into a real tough division, a shortened offseason for both teams. But I think when you look at them in a vacuum and you say, who's going to have a better 2020, I say without a doubt it's got to be Tom Brady, just off pure ease and comfort.